Welcome everybody. Usually we would be starting at 18:05. In this case we have a slight delay since we have players who want to join the lobby but can't. As you may know, we will be driving in Brazil today. And well, I think we have 11 drivers now. That means Danny is in here. So he will jump into the Ferrari and we are going to be starting this Challenger tier off with 11 drivers today. Hopefully there's going to be a bunch more in the next week, as we're missing, I think, Clay, Little Pace, from the Sunday drivers. Okay. But anyways, we will head over to Brazil, as this was I think it was RNG, right? I think Brazil didn't make it through the driver drafts, but instead was thrown into this year's calendar by the randomness. A very nice track to drive for me personally. I think I have driven it in the sprint series. Not very successful, yet acceptable, I think. Apart from killing Dan back then. Certainly one of my more favorable tracks. I like it more than like other tracks, for example. Just like has a very good flow to it, and well, here we have our 11 drivers. Let's see who is gonna come out first towards this very short lap. I think it's only 1 minute 10. It seems like Gimp has well, the medium tires on right now. I assume. Oh no, that's gonna be Goldfish, the first driver to leave the pits. It is. Yeah, it is Goldfish. Good afternoon, Mr. Yellowmiller in the Williams. Certainly one of the, probably the favorite to win this. As we've seen a very, very good performance last time. Oh, okay. Goldfish goes on track and immediately loses his front wing, so I assume he's gonna be coming back into the pits immediately. And that he is not gonna go for a hot lap. Instead, Sector 1 yellow flag. Ah, okay. Instead we might jump on board with... Wait, actually I have to know how we do jump on board. F6, okay, crazy. Just switching over to managing the entire bits with Stanny picked Merc instead of Ferrari. Stanny picked nothing, and since Merc is the top team, he got the Mercs. I mean, we know that Stanny in the Merc right now is supposed to be driving with a Ferrari. And yeah, Baddis and Stanny are a team. It's actually their well, completely all of them driving today. And Gimp is going to be the first driver to set a hot lap on the mediums. You can go for quite a bunch of stints over here, as one takes you about 5 minutes, I think, with going back into the pits, out lap, hot lap, of course. So yeah, I think theoretically you could set 4 hot laps if you start at the very beginning and end in the very end. Okay, now him running in some traffic right now. Yeah, that's his hot lap gone. I don't know if he's gonna go for another lap immediately, but this was certainly not beneficial for his lap time. I mean, it's showing purple right now, but it's just because... Oh, okay. Lil Slump, who I assume is Lil Pace, spinning out in his out lap, basically ruining his chances to get a good hot lap afterwards, since he's gonna be missing pace. 111 is still not too bad for, like, considering that he basically had to go slalom through the entire field. Well, no surprise, Crew is having a purple sector 2, and Percy is having the quickest lap with the mediums as well now. Crew coming through. 1.8. Wait, is F1 2020 that much faster? I mean, I assume so, yeah. I think the Mercs gained 0.7 seconds on Silverstone, for example, to their previous car, like last year. So yeah, might be that the balanced cars in F1 2020 are a good bit faster than the usual cars as well. Nico just losing out by 200ths to his teammate. And now Yellow snatches the pole position away from them both by a good 0.4 seconds advantage. Now we're on with Badis coming into Sector 3, 2 seconds slower after Sector 2, if I remember that right. So we should look for some kind of a 1:10 time. Percy actually completed a second hot lap, improving his time slightly. And Badis just slots him narrowly behind Gimp with the soft tires, currently P6. Now Ethan coming through Sector 2, and I assume looking quite solid so far. Would be a good thing if we knew what to compare it to coming into the last sector. At least he's not sliding at all. I doubt that he's super fast though. To be honest, 52.4 should be somewhere along the lines of the top finishers. It's 2 seconds quicker than Badis, at least to that point. And even though he has not shown any purple sector yet, might be in good contention. Yeah, P4 for now. And there we are. So, Kapuma, a newcomer that we have not seen drive at all so far, I think. Is a slight tad faster than Ethan. And is now going through to complete his hot lap. And he stays a slight bit ahead of Ethan, but can't beat the times of the 1.8 boys. Quite a bunch of a lead, or like quite a good lead for them. Who is still out there? It's Goldfish coming through, 2 seconds slower than his previous lap. So he's coming right back into the pits with a low 1.9, not too bad. But yeah, for now it seems to be that Yellow is sitting on pole with a quite good advantage. Oh, let's see. We're gonna have Stanny in the good old Black Mercs now. They updated deliveries, and apparently, okay. Don't know if there was contact between Stanny and Kapuma. I was assuming that Kapuma was on an in lap. Apparently, it was a second hot lap. No improvements on the time though, which seemed to be quite likely after that little bit of contact. Now Stanny will begin the first hot lap of himself. Probably one of the least experienced drivers we have on the field, so quite interesting to see where he's gonna be after this one. I think followed up by Percy, who's on an outlap. I think we will jump over to Percy once Stanny has completed his lap, as Percy looked to be quite competitive in the past, but seems to be struggling a little bit for pace, being 2.5 seconds off, 1.5 seconds off pace in this one. Someone has set a new best lap for himself, and I think it was Gimp with the 19.095. Let's see where Stanley's gonna come out. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit behind these times. 112. And yeah, might be able to do better. He goes for another run. Now Percy. Huge lockup into turn 1. Doesn't look too bad through the center S though. Very nice racing line, just using the maximum of the track before getting punished for being out of the track limits. And it's looking quite fluent. Probably gonna be catching Stanny at a very moderate rate. Yeah, he gains so much time on Stanny, yeah. Stanny moves aside. Percy coming through. Now, down the right-hander. Last sector. Coming up. And that is a new best time through Sector 2. Looking very good indeed. His first sector was less than optimal. High 52 time after Sector 2, so yeah, it's just improving a slight little bit. Ultimately it's not gonna be enough. Maybe he's gonna go for another. Almost seems like it. Yeah, second hot lap immediately after. And well, when he returns into the pits, he's likely gonna be having enough time for a third stint as well. Gotta say, this turn is very good by him. Like these two right-handers uphill, looking quite decent. So down the hill we go again. Another purple Sector 2. This is a very good time though, 52.0. Should give him at least the opportunity to catch Kopuma for P5 if he gets a good Sector 3. And he does exactly that, slots in between Kopuma and Nico and takes P5 for now. So now let's jump on board with the AlphaTauri. 50.05 seconds quicker in Sector 1. This Sector 2 is looking rather sketchy though so far. In maybe just different racing lines that he and Percy go. Let's see how it works out for him. Yeah, slightly slower than Percy up to this point. Can he get a quick Sector 3 in though? It's just a little bit of time that he needs to make up to get at least P7, and he goes into the pits. Ah, that was some good braking. So everyone on track is on somewhat oldish tires, apart from Puma, who's not on track anymore though, returning into the pits as I think most of the drivers should do now. No, Bettis goes for a third consecutive hot lap. Seemingly struggling for a grip a little bit, braking very deep into turn 1. Now coming out of the first sector. Yes, already 0.3 seconds behind. Like, if his second attempt was not his in-lap, this certainly should be. Okay, Stanny is coming back on track in the meantime, and I think we can jump over to Gimp, who is the man to watch right now, as he's gonna be the only one being on a competitive hot lap right now. Oh, very good line through the center S's. I think rarely losing any time. Stanny going very slow there on his way to the outlap, probably willing to make space for the drivers behind him. And, well, it worked out for Gimp at least. Now, a little bit of a lockup on the front right, costing him definitely a good bunch of time, as he had to run very deep through that little snaky section in Sector 2, and has most likely lost, I would say, half a second or something there. Now he's slightly behind the time. I think he could set a competitive hot lap without that little mistake, but now it's gonna be hard for him to beat Kapuma's time. Can he still do it? Nope. Loses out a little bit more even. Lock up through turn 1. Good recovery though, and carries on good momentum out of turn 3. And that shows already a 10th ahead of his previous best time. Now just has to get through Sector 2 without any major lockups and mistakes. Doesn't look too bad here. He didn't do the same mistake twice. No spin around this little corner, as that is very treacherous for spinning, especially if you go without assists, which I assume Gimp does, as we've seen the lockups every now and then. 0.5 seconds ahead now. That was not too badly driven neither. Now he is gonna be having a legitimate shot at, I think, P5. It's even P4, as he beats Nico by a narrow margin, and it's just so short, like behind Goldfish and Crew, so almost a P2 for him. Ultimately, P4, not too bad neither. Let's jump on board with... Have we seen Kokuma? Yeah, we have seen Kopuma driving a hot lap, and he just finished another 1-9. Not enough to go better. So let's instead go with... Nah, Percy has just finished his hot lap as well. Who is Crew? Crew should be coming right on a new little hot lap. Oh, that was a good... Gimp's gonna be the next noob. We'll see. Gimp's definitely looking competitive so far. With good effort throughout this qualifying, and almost being able to make that P2 happen. Was a very good Sector 1 by Crew here, but the first turns of Sector 2 didn't look that great. Nonetheless, it seems to be a little bit of a recovery drive here, as second half of Sector 2 so far. And looking fresh and clean. And he's gonna be the one chasing for the pole position, and well, he doesn't lose time in Sector 3 now. He will have it, as he's 0.4 seconds faster. Percy, on the second hot lap, who I just thought was not gonna go on another hot lap, takes P2, but just for, oh my god, a few moments, as Crew loses a slight bit of time in the last sector to drop 0.004 seconds behind Yellamella, who's going for another hot lap nonetheless. Oh yeah, little slump just drives in the wall to go away outside of Yellamella's way here. Yeah, holy shit, that's definitely close. But can Yellowmellow improve? Oh yes, Yellowmellow still has some tricks up his sleeve. 0.4 seconds faster, so what's been looking very, very close seems to be a more split finish now, as Yellowmellow seems to be the merc of this division, half a second ahead of everyone else. But apart from that, like, P4 to 6 is basically divided by nothing. Very close qualifying overall. I think we could theoretically go with Kupuma, who is still, like, the Williams are the only drivers can still set a hot lap. I don't know if Kupuma still tries. He has his ERS on 0. Okay, now it's on 2 again. To be honest, his time is not too far off. At least better than his previous time. He will need a little bit more to get past Ethan. And it was ultimately not enough to even improve the time. And that should have been the last finisher. Ethan is somehow on an outlap. Interesting. I doubt that he's even gonna be able to reach the finish line before the time runs out entirely. We're gonna see where the game's gonna send us, as time should theoretically have run out quite a bunch of time ago, but I think we've never had a qualifying ending where it should have ended. And now, all of a sudden, we have a bunch of AI drivers in here, apparently. Why is Ethan still allowed to... What? I don't get this. Oh, and there's the invalid lap time. Nonetheless, okay, yeah. Nice. It doesn't sound healthy. Huh. Huh. Yeah, finally, thank you, game. Thanks a lot. That was a very long end to the qualifying. Don't exactly know what was going on there. But this is our starting grid for the Challenger tier. Only 11 drives today. We will look forward to have your all in the next week for sure. Especially like the fellow Rocket Sundays participants. But for now, it's the Yellowmellow crew and Percy in P123. Goldfish and Gimp, the 2 Red Bulls, following up before the second Alpha in Nico, Ethan, Kupuma, Lil Slam, Badders, and Stanny completing the grid in the back. And we will head over to the race. That is only going to be 25% race. Of course, afterwards we will have the Elite tier racing 50%. And well, as I have just recently looked into the signups there, it looks absolutely packed with 18 drivers. Only 2 drivers were not available today, or rather 3, but one has gotten himself a reserve driver, which is highly appreciated. So we will have a very full grid for the big boys coming up, and I'm very hyped to see that. For now, go crew! with Crew Fan Club in Meshikir. For now, well, this is gonna be the start of the Challenger tier, first round here. Okay. Is this... Okay, this is Formation Lab, right? Yes, this is Formation Lab. Okay. Don't panic. It is all good. We will go with tire. So, no, actually, for the start, we should go broadcast. I think, well, on 25% racer strategy is basically non-existent, as it's just soft mediums on every single track. I already noticed in the last game that your counter is sometimes a bit off. For example, once you said that I didn't go over the line in time, although we had 30 seconds left. To be honest, that might be because I think the first drivers driving out for hot laps like usually just start around the 17-minute line. So if you have like 30 seconds setting yourself up and then going out, you might be just 30 seconds ahead, which would suck, to be honest, as yeah, I don't know. Shouldn't be that hard to have synchronized times for spectators and drivers, right? But yeah, we're gonna see. So, Yellamella is gonna be starting from P1. Leading Crew and Percy into turn 1, potentially. Of course, Crew having the inside line in P2 is gonna have a look for sure. And lights out for me. Not for anyone else, apparently. We're going away now as Yellamella gets a decent start. Crew, not really. I think Percy is already around the outside. Is there carnage in the back? Let's see. No contact. Oh, there's contact. Gimp spinning around doing the Albon. And now has to start all the way from the back. Sebastian Vettel-esque, I guess. But he's not fighting for the championship yet. Ethan has a look down the inside of Percy, who has been passed by Crew as well already, going into Sector 2. Percy stays ahead of Ethan for now, but he will surely be pushing behind Ethan. There's Puma and Goldfish. Goldfish is very close behind as well. I think we will probably have to wait for moves until we get a DRS, but turn 1 is a very, very nice place to go for a little lunch. Except if you are Hulkenberg. Never forget, 2012. We could have seen Force India winning with him. Hamilton has to ruin everything, right? Well, let's jump over to Percy as he's getting attacked by Ethan once more. Defends successfully for now. But I'm sure that Ethan and maybe even Kupuma will have a look on that turn 4, but they choose to stay behind. And Percy remains in P3 for now, but coming under serious pressure. Speaking of coming under pressure, let's have a look further at the back. Battis and Stanny, two teammates in different liveries. Very close together as well, but I think we're gonna head right over into the field, as we have 5 drivers bunched up pretty nicely around here. Yellamella and Crew in the lead, getting away a little bit. We didn't get the best of the starts. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Gimp has lost some positions, arguably. Oh my. Yellow flag, sector 3. I think there might have been a little bit of a better Stanny contact and spin, maybe. Ooh, there was definitely a corner cut for Goldfish. And coming on to the next straight, Nico Has DRS on him as well and gets a way better exit. Superior speed down the inside. Oh my god, and Percy's just not where he used to be. Stuff happened. Kopuma is third all of a sudden, passing both Ethan and Percy. I don't know if that has anything to do with, well, Percy dropping down like that. Yeah, Goldfish Nico, difficult to say. I feel like Goldfish shut the door pretty harshly on Nico there, as he was legitimately at least side by side. But Goldfish advances into P5 as Percy gets overtaken. I think this is a move for Ethan, who rather pushes the Williams out of the way. I gotta say though, Kopuma could potentially leave a bit more space for the fellow other drivers, as that would be a black-white flag, like Grosjean got it today in Silverstone. He's, yeah, basically taking up a lot of space on this very narrow track. At least through Sector 2. Percy just came into the pits, goes on the mediums, will probably go through to the end. I think we will jump over to Goldfish as he has a good look at the two other lads here. And yeah, we're gonna see how long Ethan will remain in the lead with two other drivers pushing up behind him. Kopuma and Goldfish both should get DRS here. Goldfish is a bit closer to Kopuma than they are to Ethan. I don't think it's gonna be enough for a move for either of these guys. Goldfish with a little bit of a lock up through turn 1. Purple sector 3. Didn't set fastest lap though, and that exit was not the very strongest neither. Drops down a little bit behind Kopuma. And can't go for a move just now. So, gentlemen, a short view back to P10. Gimp is closing up on Darth Stanny. Little bit of a slight lock up there on the front left. Still, he's gaining time. He had superior pace to Stanny in the qualifying, as did pretty much everyone else. So I assume we're gonna be seeing a move down the next DRS zone. And Badass surely is gonna be the next one to beat, as he's dropping down behind a little slump, who I think is Little Pace as well. But here it's only the 6th lap. Kopuma getting a warning for corner cutting. I wonder if that has benefited his move past Ethan there. I am pretty sure it might have. But we'll stick with Gimp, who cuts the corner a little bit there to get a way better exit out of the Senna S's here though. And that's gonna be him on Stanny. Oh. Apparently we have a random okay, well, shoutouts for the follows, nonetheless, guys. Spiro Peter and D Chris. Was just a bit confused that Streamlabs app actually sends messages right now, as it usually was not connected to the stream for me, as it's not my channel necessarily. Now, over here, yeah, Badass going everywhere, but not necessarily on the racetrack. And Stanny is rather all over the place as well. Kopuma and Ethan both into the pits right now. Kopuma will stay ahead. Gimp around the outside. He has the on-track position. Stanny needs to leave a little bit more space there. And, well, I mean, I will say that this is, I think, the Albon car. Is it 23? No, it's 33. But yeah, Stanny is definitely driving the Hamilton car, so coincidence? I think not. That was a good bunch of a dive bomb though, like by Stanny, taking him out. As Kapuma goes past Bettis, not necessarily in the most on-track way, if you want to call it that. And it's Nico and Goldfish who are probably gonna find their way together. Nico down the inside. The purple sector 3, but he's not gonna go for a lunch here. As it's Goldfish who remains ahead for now. Way better exit for Nico here. Ooh, Leclerc Vettel last year. A little bit coming together on a straight. Maybe not having the best control out of the corner, but overall I think fair move. Stuff like this happens when you lose control moving out of the slipstream a little bit maybe. And Nico is now ahead of Goldfish. I think both drivers should somewhere be close to a pit stop. Gimp is in the pits again. Very unfortunate race for him, being spun 2 times without having any opportunity to do something against that. Still nice to see him still driving. And well, with 10 laps to go, I think he can at least get into the points. As at least Stanny has got a pit. Well, I doubt he will lose enough time though. Pit window is open for the mediums now. Crew is in the pits for the mediums, as Goldfish will get through again. And Goldfish is... Nico is the alpha that was close to Goldfish before. Crew was in P2, of course, will return there once Nico and Goldfish have pit. That is going on, rather off track in Sector 3. Gimp running up to him and getting past for P10. So yeah, onboard action with Goldfish. Even though I assume both of these drivers are going into the pits in this very lap. Yellowmiller should be approaching the pit lane right now, and he is going into the pits too. Let's see. That looks like both of the P2 and 3 drivers go into the pits too. Yikes. I mean, arguably Nico braked a little bit early there. Unfortunate for him that he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane after Goldfish has absolutely smacked his booty big time into the pits. Yikes. We'll see how much that will inflict damage on him, like positioning wise. Another thing that might inflict damage on something might be runner-ups. Should be pitting soon. Bringing some chaos to the order. At the moment, Stanny is pushing up behind Nico, but for how long can he keep his pace? I assume for not much longer, as hit time's pretty much there. And, well, yeah. I think he's just losing time every lap he stays out on these softs now. Considering that he probably qualified on the softs as well, with probably more than just 1 lap, as we know the good old Danny Strats. Okay, he will just continue living the best life in P6 as his teammate sits in the grass in Sector 2 once more. Bettis not having the best time. Jack is already here, but it is not elite tier time yet. We're gonna hit you up in the Discord once we open the new lobby. Watch out for punctures, lol. Yeah. I think punctures have been a pretty common team. I would have loved to see the punctures in like reverse order. Like Valtteri getting his on the last lap and Lewis getting his like a few laps earlier. That would have been just Now the championship is basically like in Lewis' hands. Ah no. Takes a little bit of the thrill and competition out of the oh my god. Yikes. Kopuma having a lonely race in P3. I think Goldfish is not gonna be too happy about that. I think Herbie is getting the urge to find Danny IRL. Yeah, he's ruined both his drivers' races. Yeah, I may say on like he has to work a little bit on his awareness maybe. And with a little bit, I mean a good bit. So, Goldfish is out with that. Can we check penalties on Ethan and Kopuma? Kopuma has quite a bunch, I know that. But to be honest, since everyone is a good bit apart right now, we might as well have a look in these. So, 3 seconds, that's Yellow Mellow. Kopuma once, Goldfish doesn't matter anymore. Both Kopuma and Ethan have 5 seconds for speeding the pit lane. Another 3 for Kopuma. Yeah, Bettis doesn't really matter that much neither. Nico could be interesting, 5 seconds. Kopuma with another 3. And Ethan with 3. So Kopuma should have 6 seconds more than Ethan. Ethan being 7 seconds behind at the moment. Has to push a little bit to make that up. Where's Nico? Nico is 8 seconds ahead of Lil Slump. And he has a 5 seconds penalty as well. That guy's actually an idiot. Make sure you report that if you got it. To be honest, even if Goldfish doesn't have it, I am basically on his POV while that happened. Because while I will not say anything regarding certain persons, I may say that some of the drivers might have to work on their racing awareness a little bit. I'll trim the video and report it, yeah. Puma still in P3, Bettis dangerous as well. But worked out quite fine. The idea was, well, way better executed than it was okay. Let's phrase it like that. Another interesting thing though is that Nico, I think, has 3 seconds less of time penalties than Ethan. Grosjean needs to work on his awareness. Wait, did Grosjean put someone out? No, I think Grosjean was perfectly aware of what he was doing to Sainz and Ricciardo. That was just like bitchy. Let's phrase it like that. Because I think he knew they were there. And this is like not a real comparison to Grosjean, as Grosjean didn't A, dive bomb someone into, well, a situation where he was clearly behind, and B, didn't dive bomb someone on a situation where he was clearly behind. How is the thing? Can't we remove 5 seconds of Nico? I mean, someone punted him into the pit lane. Did we... Question is if we ever released the rule set of penalty removal. I think we did in the sprint series, and we have not reverted it yet. I think what we said about this was that A, you have to show that this is not your fault, and B, well, you have to show that there are no further warnings. That doesn't matter about the 5-second penalties, so theoretically he can report it, and we will have a look into it if either he's at fault for braking way too early, or if Goldfish is at fault. But yeah, I think it's gonna be difficult because he stopped very, very early indeed, as Goldfish is just saying. The 3-second penalties regarding Jack there, you would have to give like a full screenshot of every single position in the penalty log to prove that you don't have additional warnings. Because for 3-second penalties, we would remove a warning, but we will not remove the penalty. So like, if you have a 3-second penalty plus 2 warnings, and you apply for a situation where you got the 3-second penalty and want it removed, well, you would have still gotten a 3-second penalty if, yeah, you know, you get the thing, right? Shout out to Jones Gaming for the follow. And to Jack for Urban Dawn. Next race is gonna be held at Monaco then. But yeah, Yellow Miller seems to be quite fine up on top there. I think only having 1 3-second penalty. To be honest, I think the situation will ultimately not matter, as Nico should be ahead of Ethan penalty-wise, and should not fall back behind enough to go out behind Lil's lump anyways. So yeah, we will see it in the aftermath. Like, I don't know, can't really say too much about everything yet. As Kapuma will probably lose his 3rd position and see quite another 3-second penalty just last lap. And well. Yellowmiller, let's just... We've given him almost no screen time. I mean, why should we? It's the same thing why Hamilton doesn't get screen time. But Yellowmiller is coming through as the winner of this Challenger Tier race by 10 seconds. Quite a nice gap to have. In 2nd position it's gonna be Crew, who has less penalties than Yellowmiller. Kapuma will most likely have more. Oh yeah, and he will drop a good bunch behind. Actually, okay, Ethan is gonna get caught by Nico, putting him in P3. And, well, Ethan in P4, Kapuma P5 because of all the penalties. Little slump. Our boy in P6, Percy and Gimp will round out the remaining drivers. GG's at Yellowmiller. Yes, very much a start to finish victory for him. I think actually that there has not even been someone else leading this race. Hamilton-esque, if you will. Gimp coming through. in P8. Unfortunate race for him. I feel like he could have had a shot at higher positions. Well, if he didn't get spun twice. Ethan doing whatever pose that is for the driver of the day that the game has elected. And yeah, it is Williams and Alfa Romeo on the podium. Like, could get any more like away from what is actually happening right now. Probably you could have like Latifi 1, Grosjean 2nd, and Giovinazzi 3rd or something. That would be crazy. Well. Penalty king here feels bad, man. Yeah, there were quite a bunch. 17 seconds, yikes. Yeah, and I mean, our boy Lil Slump here with no penalties. It's the only thing you actually have to do. Crew with no penalties neither. You almost got another position because of, well, not having penalties, but running it down, it is Yellow with win, fastest lap, P1. I think taking home the Grand Slam here. Crew in P2, starting from P2, and Nico making up a whole bunch of position for the podium. Well, I guess that's what you get for driving with a keyboard. Huh. Okay. Well, apparently we have a keyboard driver. I've never seen anyone actually playing the game on keyboard, but well. This has been Challenger Tier. We will go into a short break until we will advance with the Elite Tier in roughly a bunch of minutes. I don't know when exactly, but we'll be right back. Ah, wrong one.